Loki, episode 5, Journey into Mystery.
It's supposed to be I'm your boy,
I
Roy.
mean, uh, I mean, I actually don't feel like there's a lot. Like, as far as the plot's concerned, I don't feel like there's a lot of introspection that needs or retrospection, introspection that's required for this episode. Uh, there's not uh, there's not a lot of investigation you have to do unless you're Easter egg hunting because it must be Easter. Like, are we back in April? Because the eggs were everywhere.
Yeah, they were. But what did you think of
Like,
the episode?
I really liked it. I'm glad that it wasn't what we were expecting. Um, oh, of which I'm so sorry that this happens damn near every time. We are incapable of talking about this episode unless we spoil some stuff. So if you haven't seen the episode, please by all means, the exit's that way. Uh, once you watched it, come on back, see what Stumb Fucks have to say about it. Sorry, I cursed. Anyway, uh, I I really enjoyed it. What we had was this it's a great episode to just keep rewatching because there's obviously something you hadn't seen, but also I just really love the performances of these other Lokis. I think Richard E. Grant really stole the episode. He was the classic Loki.
Which
To the point where I'm entertaining the fan theory that he actually might be the original Loki.
he might be, because yeah, when you were
talking, when you were work.
Yeah, when you were talking about the actor, I was like, I do not know who that is, and I had to really because at the end of the last episode, you only saw a short clip of him, so I didn't really make out his face. And then when we saw the actual episode this week, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen him. He was in fucking Star Wars. And the most famous role that I know him for is Spice Girls Spice World movie, where he was the manager.
Oh my god! Oh, that is not. He is a very respectable actor. Who's been in the industry for decades. And
he
like,
made that
that's
movie.
what you know him for.
He made that movie because
he made that movie.
I'm gonna tell you, because near the end, when the whole Spice Girls didn't show up for their big concert at the end, and they had like the cameras panned on them and everything, he's like, "All right, I know what I'm gonna do." The lights come on. The crowd starts cheering, the band starts playing, and I get out on center stage, and he pulls out a fucking hangman's noose and is like, I'm gonna hang myself. I was like, yo, that shit was classic. But anyway, this episode I really enjoyed. I felt, because it's hard to judge because I'm guessing this is gonna be the next one's gonna be the last episode. This one, if I was to rank. Well, unless you know something.
No, something that was interesting that was pointed out to me was that unlike the previous two shows on Disney Plus, which are categorized as miniseries, this is a seasonal show. So it leaves the door open that we might actually get a season 2 of Loki. So this will be the last episode. This next episode will be the last episode of the season. This is the penultimate episode. But who knows? Leaving the door open.
Yeah, because if I was to rank from the bottom, like I said, we don't have episode 6. I would go 3, 5. I want to say maybe 1, 2, and let's say 4. Yeah, 4.
You did not say 4.
I did say 4. I'm saying 4 is the number 1, my favorite episode.
Really? I thought number 4 was your because number 4 was the episode that was slower where they were on the train.
No, that was episode 3. Episode 3 was on the train. Episode 2.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. One of the things I actually really liked about it was that this episode forced me to go and do research. I didn't know what the hell Elias was. I don't know. It's like, but I felt like I was in Loki's shoes because nothing was like they were the three Lokis that picked him up weren't taking the time to explain anything. He's just kind of wondering. It's like, what the hell's going on? And it's like, no time. It's like, what is that? No time. It's like, would somebody please tell me what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So
So,
to give you a summary.
This is the void. That's Elias.
Yeah. Right here it says in the Marvel comics, Alioth is similarly I can never say that word, purple hued cloud with red eyes, and he debated in the 1993 as a rival to Kang the Conqueror. Dun, dun, dun. Unbound by time, Alioth boasts a massive temporal empire, but his MCU counterpart seems to have be more mindless villain for now, at least. So
The thing is, I'm scared. I'm scared of this sixth episode, to be completely honest, because we've been hurt already, and I know I'm not alone in thinking that like all this Kang setup, and we could get Ralph Bonard, which should be like a verb at this point for a massive red herring.
It could be Thanos.
Like
you never know.
there's the Thanos copter was in this episode.
Yeah.
That's fucking the shark repellent of Marvel Comics. Like you remember what's this oh shit. What's his name? He the guy who played Batman, he was the mayor of in Family Guy. Oh my god, I'm blanking.
Adam West?
Adam West. Adam West Batman had like on his show they had shark repellent on his belt. That was one of the cheesiest, like meme-worthy things that showed up in a very cheesy Batman show. But the Thanos copter is like Marvel's equivalent.
Yeah.
Thanos riding around in a fucking helicopter with his name on it.
Yeah, because I was like, what? I saw the Thanos. I was like, yo, what does that mean? I go look it up, and it's like, yeah, that's like a running gag in Marvel Comics. I'm like, oh, I thought it had more importance and everything. It's like, yo,
Well, no, because like we have Elias. Is it Elias?
Elias.
Yeah, we have Elias who has connections to Kang. Ravonna Renslayer who has connections to Kang, and that destroyed tower that looks like Avengers Tower or Stark Tower, it had Kang on it, which is also a reference to the comics because a version of Kang secretly ran a company on Earth. It's like all these red flags, and I'm scared to get Ralph Bonard.
But yeah, if we want to talk about a couple Easter eggs in here, I pulled some of them up. I don't know if it's like the whole list of Easter eggs or whatnot. So, one, because we talked about Elias, we talked about the Kang Enterprise Tower, Yellow Jacket's helmet, or Yellow Jacket's head.
Giant Yellow Jacket's helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was out there in the void. Of course, we did the Thanos copter. Apparently, TVA trays were out there. Apparently, I'm looking at Screen Rant, so I guess their food trays were dumped into the void. Yeah.
I didn't see those.
I mean, I'm not looking for food trays. I'm looking for other stuff.
Well, no, like, I mean, we saw Mjolnir in the heap as they were descending into the three Loki's hideout. There was also a jar with not Throg, the frog, the frog with the power of Thor, but that was Thor turned into a frog.
Yeah. So
there's a distinct difference. You have to pay attention.
Well, about saying reading here, because when I was watching, my quality internet makes everything look shitty. So I thought it was just Thor, regular Thor in a jar, and then I watched it back and I was like, oh no, it's actually a frog. And on the label says T365, which is Thor issue 365, in which Throg made his comic book debut.
Yeah, Loki turned Thor into a frog. There was a statue at the least of the severed head of the living tribunal, which is a step below God in Marvel's cosmology. Which is the second time we get to see this supremely powerful, like the Living Tribunal is a multiversal power, referenced because like the first time was in Doctor Strange, where Mordo had that staff of the Living Tribunal. So
Uh,
like references to the larger cosmology of Marvel is always really interesting for me.
so yeah, the one I caught is when the Lokis were pretty much in the underground bunker. And they were all chilling, you know, and Kid Loki, he was drinking an Ecto Cooler High C.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that's dope. Uh, where's the other one? Because the other one I didn't catch, and I'm so mad I didn't catch this because Disney and Marvel like two separate things, but you know they work together. Is the Pizza Planet truck that Mobius was driving?
Was it Pizza Planet though? It didn't have a rocket on top. It was just a giant pizza slice.
I mean, let's see. Hold on, I'm looking here. So,
Of which Mobius is alive. That was
yeah,
oh man.
I told you he wasn't dead.
I mean, but you know, you hate you hate to have your hopes dashed. I was worried then. That's part of what makes this show so great is it constantly has you worried about what's going to happen next. But I know you were fucking there. Like the smile had to cross your face. Had to just plastered on your face when Mobius went for the handshake and Loki went for the hug. And then to even to give it that little comedic bump by him whispering to Sylvie, it's like, "You're my."
Yeah, so yeah, the Living Tribunal was out there. Ronan's ship was out there.
Yes.
The Hell
Yeah, I can see
Carrier.
that one.
Yeah, Shield's Hell Carriers were out there.
I can see Shield's
Yeah.
Helicarriers.
Where is it? And apparently they saying when they jumping ahead here, but near the end where they did what they did, they revealed that little void to that little castle thing. They saying it's Kang's Citadel. I don't know. Could be somebody else.
We don't know that yet.
yeah. So I'm gonna just throw that one into the garbage right now because I don't believe anything. But the one I found the most fun was the ship that dropped in, which was the USS Eldridge.
Oh yeah, I had another content creator was talking about that one where it's like it's a conspiracy theory or a myth ship where it's believed that the government did experiments to make a ship invisible and instead they sent it to another dimension.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm not going to go deep into that, but I did find that funny. It's like, oh, okay, you're taking a little bit of real world shit to kind of explain what the hell you did. But nonetheless, that's your quote.
How about we go into the plot?
Okay, that I was about to. So starting from the beginning,
we're gonna let you do the plot since you won't go over every minute second of it.
Yeah. So go ahead, cut me off at any time where you want, and then you do your little Azzy rant. So, all right. Sylvie learns at the time TVA Judge Ravonna Renslayer that Loki was teleported to the Void, a dimension at the end of time where everything the TVA prunes is dumped into. So, any thoughts about that?
Garbage disposal.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, like get this shit out of here. You know, all I'm
saying.
Well,
in one way, like it helps to assuage a sense of suspension of disbelief. You know, if you'd like to take in like the law of conservation of energy to everything, it's like mass cannot be, or energy cannot be created or destroyed, only change from one thing to the next. Well,
all I'm thinking about is that dude from the very first episode where he didn't get his ticket. Yes. So now I know he's like, yo, I should have grabbed that ticket. So meanwhile, Loki learns from 4 time variants of himself: Boastful Loki, Classic Loki, Kid Loki, and Alligator Loki, that a cloud-like creature named Eliath guards the void and prevents anyone from escaping. In an attempt to reach Loki, Sylvie prunes herself and narrowly escapes Eliath with former TVA member Mobius. Okay, so
let me say one thing about that one. Like, we get to that point because uh Sylvie allows Renslayer to run off this spiel of bullshit, which, come on now. We knew it was fucking bullshit, because first she's like, we don't know a lot about the Void. He's like, but we have a Void-proof ship. It's like,
I caught on to your bullshit.
I think the most surprising thing was that, like, Miss Minutes could be deceptive.
Yeah.
Because she's a computer. You wouldn't expect the computer or she's basically a computer, so you wouldn't exactly expect the computer to sit there and, like, bullshit with a Rolodex to help support someone's life.
I mean, if what's his name?
It's just like that was the one moment in the entire episode where I was like, really? After all the shit she put you through, you're gonna sit there and believe her bullshit?
Yeah, at this point, like that whole beginning with Ravonna Renslayer talking, I was like, yo, I'm catching all your bullshit you're talking right now. At this point, I was like, I'm not believing anything she's saying. Unless she's sitting in front of Kang, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so boastful Loki attempts to betray the other Lokis for a separate Loki group led by President Loki. However, the Lokis betray each other, causing a fight to ensue and forcing Loki and his variant allies to escape. This scene, I felt it was stupid. It was stupid. Right when he's like, why is there an alligator on the floor? And the fucking alligator Loki bites his hand off.
It was hilarious. I'd imagine it also helped establish a sense of continuity, because one of the Lokis that are in, like, the band of Ravagers was one of the ones that Mobius showed off when they were showing the different versions of Loki. One of them still had a helmet with horns, but it was a helmet with, like, a bike handle for horns. It's like, hey, you got to keep the image going.
I guess, because some of them were like whacked out, stupid Lokis, which I also like the twist, because Marvel likes to manipulate us with their trailers, and in the trailer we see Tom Hiddleston as President Loki, and we expect that at some point our Loki would become that. Instead, it's just a Loki that looks exactly like him. Yeah. So yeah,
who gets his hand bitten off by the alligator?
That was the highlight for him, I guess.
Oh man, it's like the scream. I was laughing my head off.
All right,
it's like turn him into Captain Hook.
Meanwhile, after interrogating and imprisoned Hunter B-15, Renslayer instructs Miss Minutes to give her information about the TVA's founding so she can reach whoever organized the TVA before Loki and Sylvie do so. After go ahead.
Do you think, how much do you think Renslayer actually knows? Because
I feel like
still
she
very
knows.
much a mystery.
See that?
Here's what I think. Under the assumption that the guy behind the curtain is Kang, I'm saying that he came down, like, when you become let's say, like, when you become a judge, you actually do meet the guy behind the curtain, not the timekeepers. And I would imagine he played it up that she was going to be a part of something bigger, but then kept all the important information out of her hands. So she wants to find him mostly just because I'm getting the impression she wants to find him for the sake of finding him or demanding what she's due, not so much to prevent them from getting him or to exact some sort of revenge.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like she's leading more than she knows. For all I know, she might be looking for the whole origin story of TVA, so nobody else can go look.
I mean, typically, especially when it comes to villains within the system, they do whatever they have to in order to maintain the system, because that maintains their position.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I mean, the TVA's continued existence does nothing but help her. So
either way, I don't like I said, I don't trust any bullshit she says. So after reuniting with Loki, Sylvie proposes a plan to approach Alive and enchant it in hopes that it will lead them to the real mastermind behind the TVA's creation. As the Lokis head toward Alive, Mobius uses a TemPad Sylvie stole from Renslayer to return to the TVA, stating that he intends to reveal the truth to everyone. He offers the Loki variants to come with him, but they decline.
All right, One of the things that doesn't come up in the summary that you're
Yeah,
reading off now.
I'm just doing a short one from
Our
Wikipedia.
Loki's original plan was to try and kill Elias, and initially the only two Lokis that were remaining out of the three that saved him, because both Loki was planning to betray them to President Loki for seat in his new world order or some other shit. So it was only classic Loki and Kid Loki that were left behind.
Alligator
Um,
Loki.
oh, and Alligator Loki. I'm sorry. So they agreed to lead him to where Elias is, but they didn't agree to actually help him. And as they're approaching Elias' lair or where it's located, that's when that ship drops out. And I love how it essentially it shows up to show exactly what would happen if you tried to kill Elias. It's like you would just lose. You can't.
Yeah,
It's like,
like
okay, maybe I need a better plan.
Yeah, Loki's like, okay, so when he's distracted, we go around the back. like, yo, there is no back to this.
The back of what?
There is no back.
I thought the effects for Elias were really cool.
Yeah.
Like definitely the best smoke monsters since Fern Gully.
Been a while since I've seen Fern Gully.
But when Sylvie first shows up, she's actually running from Elias, and then she makes contact and gets very brief visions from in Elias's mind.
Yeah.
Elias's mind. And that's what leads her to believe that she can enchant it.
Yeah, because I remember that scene where she was running from it, and then I guess trying to enchant, and it had that quick shot.
Well, she may. I'm not. Who knows if she actually intended it? She just made contact, and that's what happened.
Yeah. So anyway,
I mean, who's first? Like, would it be your first instinct to try and like charm a smoke cloud?
No, I'd be like, yo, that big ass smoke cloud is coming. Oh, it's got a face. Oh, hell no.
Oh, but one thing I want to say is that classic Loki. What was really cool about him is that when he played out his origin about how he was the Loki who assuaged martial combat and focused on his magic, and that was how he was able to elude his death, because his life was exactly like our original Loki up until the point where the Mad Titan tried to choke him to death, and he cast such a good illusion, he fooled the Mad Titan, and then went into isolation to just live his life, and he wasn't bothered until decades later, when he realized that he missed his brother and tried to make an attempt to go reconnect with him, only to find out that like the moment he stepped off his rock, that's when the TVA grabbed him, which throws into like, not that we had to like distrust the TVA all the more, but like the question is, if this Loki was a variant, why did it take that long for them to prune him? In the same way as like, why'd they give Sylvie all those years? Because she was like 7 when they grabbed her, but or 10 or something. But still, it's like, wouldn't the moment of her birth and she did not, and she had a vagina?
Oh, I didn't know what the hell you were going with that, but all right.
Well, yeah. No, because like it's a question. It's like, why weren't these things immediately done? Because they play it up like the TV immediately fixes something the moment it diverges. But both of those versions of Loki, Sylvie and classic Loki, their divergencies lasted an extended period of time before they were ever taken care of. And classic Loki is very bitter. And when our Loki is trying to convince him of something, he's like, what? You got some glorious purpose? Just throwing that shit in his face. And I just wanted to bring that up for setup later. So
yeah, we're about to hit it. Kid Loki and Alligator Loki escape, while classic Loki creates a large illusion of Asgard to distract Elias, sacrificing himself in the process. Go ahead, because all I was thinking is,
yes, Richard Grant stole this episode, because I love that moment where like he was like, you know what, I'm older, and I'm like, he was very much the same kind of Loki as our Loki, so it's like he had this moment, and not to mention he got to show how powerful Loki could actually be, where he's literally creating this massive illusion of all of Asgard, and uh, just like deciding to believe again, just yelling into this monster's face, "Glory, Papa!" I fucking loved it, man. That was like right up there for me as "You Shall Not Pass,"
Yeah, but I
as
say
like
when
old people like busting out some crazy shit.
yeah, when it happened, I was
Old
like,
magicians busting out some crazy
I
shit.
was thinking to myself, Jonathan probably busted a nut when he said that. He's like, yeah, he took that from
Yes!
he took that from Gandalf.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it was great.
All
It was
right.
great.
So, in the process of sacrificing himself, Loki and Sylvie successfully enchant the creature and move past the void, noticing a citadel in the distance. The pair walk towards it. End of episode.
You know, you know what? You know what it reminded me of? Sin from Final Fantasy X. For those that don't know, in Final Fantasy X, one of the principal enemy is this giant monster who essentially attacks any civilization that advances too far. Inside Sin,
Reapers.
or on top of Sin, technically, but still inside Sin is the actual enemy. Using Sin like a giant ship, as opposed to dealing with things on his own. So when they finally enchanted Eliath, and it kind of parts the way to reveal this castle that Sylvie got a glimpse of, I was like, oh shit, this is some like Sin, some like Geppetto inside monster kind of shit.
We'll see. We got until next Wednesday, and I'm mad because I gotta get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do the truck at work, and I'm like, ah. But once I'm done the truck, I get to come home and watch it. So
I love this episode. One of the things that wasn't mentioned in that recap is that Kid Loki hands uh a flaming sword to our Loki, the main Loki. And I thought that this was a deep cut reference to the comics with Kid Loki, because like the way Kid Loki essentially like elevated himself amongst the four that we were introduced to, is that his divergent event was that he killed Thor. And what I thought was really cool and interesting was that this could very well be the Kid Loki from the comics, because that kid Loki from the comics, in order to try and save Asgard, initiated a giant overarching scheme that involved all these different elements, including a fragment of Surtur's sword called the Twilight Sword, which is a giant flaming sword. A fragment of that would look like a tiny hand sword in the hands of a boy. Uh, but the scheme does allow the heroes to prevail in that conflict and for Asgard to be saved, but it results sadly in Thor's death. It's not intended, but that's what happened. So technically, he did kill Thor, and that could be the divergent event. And not to mention, shortly after, Kid Loki has to kill himself, or his existence is eliminated. So again, that could be him. Uh, but it was pointed out that Loki does actually have a sword all his own. It's not really on fire though. It's more like it just has like energy on it. But it's whatever. It could be either way.
mm. uh,
Uh, bit sad that boastful Loki had to be revealed to be a dickhead.
yeah, he bragging and was like, what did he say? He was like, killed Thor. Did he kill Thor too? And then he got the I can't remember.
I think
he
he
was
said something about destroying Asgard. Yeah, he was saying some bullshit.
Yeah, he was saying some bullshit. He got the Infinity Stones and everything. Like, no, you didn't, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right. He said that he got all the Infinity Stones.
And all the Loki's calling his bullshit. He's like, no, you fucking didn't.
It was a really good episode. It really like, but again, this is what I'm worried about. I'm hoping that it is Kang. I'm hoping that it's. I'm hoping what I'm actually hoping is that I'm hoping it is a particular version of Kang, because Kang is a very complicated villain in Marvel in general. there's so many different versions of him. Like the young version is a member of the Young Avengers. I feel like I mentioned this in the past episode. He's called Iron Lad. Uh, each of the Young Avengers uh, essentially adopted a moniker that's reminiscent or makes reference to one of the mainstay Avengers. So you had uh, Patriot, who was like the Captain America analog, and then you had Hulkling, who was supposed to be the Hulk analog, even though he's not a Hulk at all. He's a Kree Skrull hybrid. He just happens to be big, bulky, and green, so they called him Hulkling. Uh, and then you had Iron Lad, who's this guy with advanced technology that was effectively supposed to be the analog for Iron Man. He, in the future, would become Kang. But there's also another version of Kang that's essentially like the oldest version of Kang, that's supposed to be way like in further in the timeline, called Immortus. So maybe we don't get Kang the Conqueror in Loki. Maybe he's not the one who created the TVA and is trying to control the entire time stream. Maybe Kang the Conqueror is in the quantum realm, like everybody suspects. Thus, Quantumanium. I mean, it's actually no. I'm sorry. It's confirmed that Kang the Conqueror is going to be in there, but perhaps we're going to see version or a variant of Kang the Conqueror in Loki in the form of Immortus. Possible.
I
It's
don't
possible. The thing I'm afraid of, the Ralph Boner that I'm hoping is not going to happen, is that the bad guy is another version of Loki. I feel like that would be so on the nose.
Don't no, because now I can definitely see it. I can definitely see it. It's like, yeah, it was me the whole time. I'm behind the TVA. Yeah. I'm sorry if
that would be massively disappointing. And one of the things is like, I don't remember every frame of the trailer, but apparently there is a moment in one of the Loki trailers, I think from the mid-season trailer, where Loki appears in resplendent garb, like golden garb, as if he's the king of Asgard. And we haven't seen that Loki yet. So now it just has me worried that it's going to be, because it could entirely be a thing of that's just a vision that's being shown to Loki as to what he could have been or could have. It might not be might not be a clip of who the final villain is, who is the Oz, the great and wonderful Oz in this series, because that's what we're waiting for. Not to mention when Elias is green, like because of the enchantment, and the curtain opens. It's like I love the Wizard of Oz imagery that we've been referring to it as, and they're playing into it.
Don't do that to me.
Don't pay attention to the guy behind the monster curtain, the smoke monster curtain.
You talking about this one? Hold on, I'm gonna send it to you through Discord right now. Oh, I was about to send that to the wrong thing. Uploading.
Let's see.
Processing. Processing.
I'd take the architect. Yep, that's it right there.
Okay,
that's what I'm worried about.
This is on
because I feel like I feel like it would be so on the nose, and honestly,
I'm gonna say
I guess kind of playing against the.
I'm gonna just say it could be just, you know, Marvel doing Marvel shit using fake trailer images, and it's not even part of the show. Hopefully, it's not part of the show.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point, because if you remember, we all thought that the Hulk was going to be Infinity War, when in fact it was Bruce Banner inside the
Hulkbuster,
the Hulkbuster armor. So that could be fake. It could be just like Tom Hiddleston's head on Kang's body. Who the hell knows? I just don't want to get Ralph Boner
Yeah,
There's
because
no, there are people out there that are trying to come up with that have come up with fan theories that Ralph Bohner is actually Quicksilver, but a variant of Quicksilver, and the Loki show doesn't take place after WandaVision, because it's timey-wimey shit. It's that at the end of this episode is when the multiverse is going to explode outward, and WandaVision then takes place after the multiverse has exploded, and that Agatha plucked Ralph Bohner, a version of Quicksilver, to fill in the role of Quicksilver
well, I
to
thought.
manipulate Wanda.
See, I thought the Ralph Bohner thing was he had an enchantment from Agatha that made him have those powers.
That's what everyone was assuming, but we didn't actually get a concrete response. We just know that that Agatha played on the notion that Wanda wanted to believe that it was Quicksilver. Um, she couldn't get the real Quicksilver because he was dead, and necromancy apparently took too much time. Uh, and she called him Pietro. He was apparently the um, the guy that um, Agent Wu.
What about Agent Wu?
Remember at the beginning of the series, Agent Wu was looking for someone that was in protective
Oh yeah.
witness protection. Yeah, it's presumed that Ralph Bohner was that guy.
Let's
But
hope.
I mean, he had headshots, so he had to be an actor.
Yeah, I'm gonna just throw my shot out there. I'm gonna just throw it out there. It could be fake, could be not.
Why you gotta reference how I'm bad at basketball?
Yeah, I'm bad at it too. You never know. This big man behind the curtain might be, if it happens, Loki and Sylvie's child. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm still hoping that they don't play. I'm still hoping that they don't play this up as a romance. I want this to be platonic. Tom Hiddleston actually did an interview before Loki premiered where someone asked him if this was the series where Loki was going to get some kind of romantic relationship or something like that, and Tom Hiddleston made the reference, you really can't love anybody else until you love yourself. And love does not have to translate to romantic love. I still think that Loki cares about Sylvie, not Loki loves Sylvie or Loki's horny for Sylvie or anything like that. And
oh yeah, me so horny.
Yeah,
but either way, I love this show. I like it a bit better than WandaVision.
Actually, yeah. If I had to be completely honest, of the
WandaVision
shows, Loki is knocking it out of the freaking park.
WandaVision took a little bit too long to get to where it needed to get.
WandaVision had a build up. Yeah, WandaVision had a build up period, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier had an issue with its villains. But Loki has been nonstop.
So
anyway, I know there was a particular episode that was slow for you, but across the board, I'm freaking loving it.
But either way,
it could be the best.
I give this episode an 8.
Yeah, I think an 8's a good number.
But you had mentioned previously, I think it was the first episode of our review for Loki, that this was going to be it for the rest of the year for Marvel shit. But lo and behold, we get a trailer today for What If. Perfect timing.
It looks so
perfect timing for this multiverse crap
that's going on. So good. Not to mention, I love that they I question whether or not they got RDJ to do the voice work for Tony. It didn't sound right.
I don't think they got anybody original.
This is going to be Chadwick Boseman's last performance as T'Challa. So we get to enjoy that.
So I hope they don't try to incorporate why he might not be in the new Black Panther movie.
They said he's not going, and they're not going to replace him.
I know that. I know. So
it'd be interesting if they actually. I was thinking about this before. It's like it'd be interesting because we don't know shit what the fuck they've been doing when they're doing it. It'd be interesting if they actually already shot some stuff for Black Panther too.
You never know. About to say they might have like old stock footage from the first Black Panther movie that they can reuse, like they did with
they did with Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, but
Carrie.
we're not going to talk about that trash fire of a movie. And y'all thought Last Jedi was bad. Y'all thought Last Jedi was bad, man. Come on, Rise of Skywalker.
I
Trash.
appreciate The Force Awakens and Last Jedi so much more after the Rise of Skywalker. Sadly, but that has nothing to do with what the hell we're talking about. We're talking about Marvel stuff.
All right. Anyway, go ahead and send it. So,
of which we're going to be doing. We're finally going to get to see Black Widow this weekend. Looking forward to that. Still, like the most anticipated thing for me right now is Shang-Chi. I'm so damn excited.
well, it better be good. That's all I can say.
Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and end it right there. If you saw the episode, what did you think about it? Drop a comment down below. What was the Easter egg that you saw that we didn't talk about here? Because there was at least like 60 more. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification because it really helps us out. And we will see you for the Black Widow review. Peace.
Deuces.
Go!